Yeah, I will do this for you. Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, you can
Uh,
start.
First of all, I apologize for this technical snag, and I really apologize for the delay that has caused. And okay, so without wasting much time, let's get it started. Uh, Thank you very much for your introduction. Uh, yeah, as uh, can you move the next slide, please? Okay. First of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mohammad Ibrar. I'm a PhD in English. I've done CELTA and Delta as well. I've been teaching here at university for 17 years. I'm also the head of IELTS program at the university. Yeah, as you see, the title of this uh, workshop or webinar, Teaching for Tomorrow, Embedding Creative and Critical Thinking in Every Lesson. Okay, how do we actually integrate creativity and critical thinking into our lesson? Yeah, that's our. And in this webinar, we are going to look at the practical aspects. Of course, there is a bit of theory, but it's mostly practical aspects that we are going to focus on, and the few things that you can readily use in class if you happen to teach. Next slide. So let me walk you through an overview of this webinar. First of all, we'll take a look at critical thinking. What is critical thinking? Then uh, critical thinking skills, and why is it so important? Then we'll are going to look at creative thinking and what are the creative thinking skills and why is it so significant? And then we'll see the link between Bloom's taxonomy and critical thinking. We are also going to see how to embed critical thinking into classroom. How do we, use different types of activities to promote critical thinking in our classrooms? And what kind of resources do we need for critical thinking? So we are going to look at each stage one by one in a bit. Next slide, please. So what is critical thinking? Can participants say something using the mic, or we'll take question answer at the
Yeah,
end?
they. Yeah. They can. They can.
Yeah. Any idea what critical thinking is?
Yes, definitely. Hello, Dr. Mohammed, Dr. Abrar.
Yeah.
This is Gamal Hassan, your colleague from King Abdulaziz University.
Oh,
How are you doing?
I'm so happy to hear your voice.
Thank you. I've been away for
Your
3
voice is
years
still
now.
young, Brother Jamal.
Thank you. As you know, critical think simply think out of the box, as we say. And when you think of the Bloom's taxonomy, you think of the three, the hots. So simply to analyze, and to create and see. It's simply
Yeah,
just an
thank you
idea.
for your
Thank
input.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So applying known information to new situations. So if you learn something, learn new ideas, how you apply in different situations. Yeah. And when we say that, that means we are talking about categorization, identifying new patterns, comparing and contrasting, thinking from different perspective, recognizing cause and effect. Okay, we'll look at each one in detail later on. So these are the things that go into critical thinking. And we look at the examples like how can we categorize? And how do we identify different patterns, especially while teaching grammar? Okay. Thank you. Now, what are critical thinking skills? Yeah, questioning assumptions. So you ask a lot of questions in class, but you design questions in such a way that help you pull out information from your students. And deductive and inductive reasoning, they are also about critical thinking. Deductive reasoning is when you move from general assumptions to specific. For example, if it's raining, what do we assume? That ground will be wet. This is deductive reasoning. So based on the assumption, you can guarantee if assumption is true, it can be guaranteed to be uh, true conclusion. So if the assumption is true, the conclusion must be true. But when it comes to inductive reasoning, yeah, it moves from a specific or from observation to something, you know, general. Let me give you one example. For example, if you eat a spicy food for the first time and you have a stomach ache, Indians are known for spicy food. Yeah, those who are not used to, they may have problem in the stomach. The stomach gets upset. So second time he eats the same food, again he has a stomach pain. He eats again for the third time, and again he has the stomach pain. It means that like a spicy food creates problem. Yeah, this is inductive reasoning. So the premise is like a spicy food, but it can't be true all the time. For example, those who are used to a spicy food, they have no problem. Like Indians and Pakistanis have no problem of eating spicy food because they're used to. They eat it on a daily basis. Inferring is also related. For example, if students read a reading passage, some answers are obvious. You just read the sentence and you get it. But for example, questions like, the author's purpose or what is the message of the author, students have to read between the line to bubble out with ideas, to find out ideas. So we call that inferring. So you find something and then you arrive at conclusion, which is not quite obvious. Evaluating is also related to, critical thinking. Like if you have two things, you evaluate which one is better, or you use your reasoning and logic. Why is it good? Showing insight. Sometimes, you read something complex, you break it down into smaller chunk so that, it's easy to understand. Also generalizing. Okay, we generalize certain things. So these are all related to critical thinking. Can I have the next slide, please? Now, why is it important? It's important because it helps you make intelligent decisions. It helps you, take the right decisions at the right time. And if there are problems, it helps you figure out problems and fix those problems. For example, if uh, fire has broken out, okay, in a house, now there are two options. People can get panicky, people can get frightened, or people can stay cool and calm and maybe consult neighbor or maybe call the fire brigade. So, yeah. So if somebody has critical thinking, he can think and take the right decision at the right time and can fix the problem. To apply knowledge to fix problems. So if we learn knowledge, right, we use it to fix problems. For example, as an EFL teacher, we have a lot of ideas how to deal with the problems of a student. So if students make particular mistakes, we know how to fix those problems. And sometimes we know why they're making this kind of mistake. to communicate effectively. So critical thinking also helps in, getting the message across easily and effectively. To build leadership skills, if someone can think out of box, that means you have leadership quality because you can think different from others. And to lead life well and contribute to society. Yeah. So if you educate yourself well and you develop critical thinking, you think different from others, yeah, you get a good job, you lead better life, and then you contribute to the overall development of society as well. It also helps in finding connection and discerning patterns to see the bigger picture. For example, you know, if someone is teaching grammar, okay, instead of telling the rules, you can introduce this, maybe a paragraph where your focus is maybe a particular tense, maybe simple present. Yeah. And then you ask your students, okay, look at the sentence. What do you notice? What kind of, verb do you see? Does it have S or without S? And something like this. So you prepare guided questions and that help students notice the pattern. And then they think of the rule that might be there. Another slide, please. Yeah, what is creative thinking? So the ability to synthesize, add, or non-informational skills into original idea. So when you have two, three ideas, they're combined together and it gives rise to another idea. So that's called creative thinking. Okay. It reminds
I
me.
think students when they, I think, I'm sorry for interrupting you, but I think creative thinking is happening after critical thinking, when they are get used to use critical thinking in class, so they then can use creative thinking as a result, I mean.
Yeah, let me give you one example. You know, I read one article in which uh, the mother, single mother, a single parent, went to a supermarket for shopping, and she had one pram in her hand. Yeah, because baby was sitting in the pram and she was pushing it. And she has another trolley to buy, vegetables and fruit from the supermarket. And she was struggling because it's not easy, to push two, one on the one hand trolley, on the other hand, pram. So one businessman was also there, and he thought of why can't we have something like the baby uh, sits in front, and then there is a bag which can serve as a trolley. So they put two things together. This is called creative thinking. Are you getting my point? So instead of two
Yeah.
things, yeah, they put them together. So now mother is pushing this trolley with a bag. Yeah. So the baby is also sleeping in the pram comfortably, and there is a bag to put vegetable. Now it doesn't have any problem in pushing the. So this kind of thinking is called creative. Let me give you a simple example. When I was a student, I would have one pencil, one eraser. Now, pencil comes with eraser. So one end you write, with another end you can rub out if you make any mistake. This is creativity.
Yeah, got it.
That-
Thank you.
Yeah.
Someone
Yeah,
is
we need to
would
think
like
out
to
of
ask.
box.
Yeah, it is. Someone would like to participate.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on, dear.
Yeah, hello. I was
Yeah.
just thinking about the relation about critical thinking and creativity. I see them like we use the critical thinking to indicate what's the problem, and we use creativity to find solutions. Yeah, in a way, like a circle. It goes like that.
I can you repeat? I couldn't get your question.
Yeah, I'm talking about the relation between the critical thinking and creative thinking. I see it's like critical thinking, we use it to indicate the problem. What's the problem? Then we use creativity to find the solution for the problem.
In fact, they go hand in hand.
Yeah, like a circle, I mean.
Yeah, they go hand in hand. Like if you
Yes,
think about problem, uh, in much deeper, and then you find the solution uh, uh, in
so
an
in a
innovative manner.
creative way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, like for example, let me give you another example. For example, every city has traffic problem, right? Now you think about this problem deep, and then you come up with various ideas to solve the problems.
yeah,
In New Delhi, in India, the chief minister of that city came up with an idea. Okay, certain numbers will drive on a particular day, and then other numbers will drive car on a different day. And this has significantly reduced the traffic congestion.
yes, yes. You find the
So
solution in
without
creative way.
spending much money, wonderful idea to reduce congestion. You see,
Yes,
so critical thinking is about thinking about the problems, much deeper, and then coming up with a very innovative solution to it. So they go
yes,
hand in hand. They complement,
yes.
one another.
All right, that's it.
Yeah, y-
Totally agree.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Let's
Also,
talk about.
Ines,
Yeah, okay,
Ines
go ahead.
also would like to ask. So
Yeah, go ahead.
can she? Yeah, okay, Ines, go on.
Hello everybody, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
yeah,
Okay. I teach English, so with creative thinking, actually, I think that when I am teaching, for example, reading is one of the receptive skills, but actually, it could be we could turn it by using critical thinking. We can make it creative. A creative skill by asking
Yeah,
students actually to think about the problem, if it is a story, for example, and to find out other solutions, other ending. If you were in the place of the character, how would you react? Would you react similarly? Would you react in a different way? In what way is it correct? Is it effective? Was it effective? Was it not effective? What do you think about that? Here, I would like to ask, is the creative thinking and the critical thinking both integrated or interrelated?
yeah, right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
So
you.
actually, they, as I told you, they complement each other,
Yes. Yeah.
thinking and creativity, and that's why they are always together. If you even if you look at Bloom's taxonomy, which we are going to take a look at in a bit,
Mm-hmm.
okay, and through that I can also give you some examples how it's used. So
Yeah. by
let's focus.
applying some elements of Bloom's taxonomy as well. The
Yeah,
higher thinking. Okay. Also, I would like to add that some students, unfortunately, sort of confuse criticism and critical thinking. They think that critical thinking is only giving judgment and evaluation. So, what would you answer? What would you say about that?
yeah. For example, if a student read a short paragraph, if you ask what is the main idea, and he tells you the main idea, it's not critical thinking. Now, if you just paraphrase the question in a different way, what do you think the writer wants to say here?
Yeah, what's the message?
Exactly. Now the students are forced to think. So now
Yeah.
he's thinking about it critically. So
Or
when you use
if
guided
after,
question, when you paraphrase question in such a way that the students
uh,
are bound to think deep.
yes,
And
or
this is what
after,
leads to critical thinking.
or after providing the main idea, when we ask them to provide reasoning evidence that this is the main idea, would
Yeah.
this then be creative thinking?
Say again?
If after providing the main idea, we ask them to give evidence, what made you say that this is the main idea? What evidence from the text just justify your answer, giving a
Yeah.
justification for the answer?
Yeah, exactly. Again, this is critical thinking because you're
Yes.
not asking the question at a surface level. They have to
Hmm.
think and say, they have to justify, they have to give reasons why they are answering this way, or
Yeah.
they have to
Thank you.
justify. They have to give reasons for the choice of their answers. Yeah. 1 minute, please. Yeah. Okay. So let's look at some of the critical creative skills here. Like, for example, fluency. Like whenever we provide our students a topic to write something on it, right? So students brainstorm ideas. Yeah. So that's called fluency, like generating a lot of ideas related to the topic. They may not use all of them. Maybe then the listing comes into the picture. Like they have to identify the most important ideas that they can use in writing. Okay. Then flexibility, like looking at the same thing from different perspective. Okay. Like, for example, advantage, disadvantages, argument, counter arguments. Then originality, unique ideas. So there are many ideas, but you focus on something which is different, which is very unique. And then elaboration. So you have got idea. Now you have to develop this point fully. Okay. And that's why I always recommend my students, peel method. P for making a point, E for explaining this point sufficiently well, and then another E to give examples. And finally, L for link. Make sure that everything you say is related to the main idea. So nothing is off topic. So this peel method helps in the development of idea, development of the point that you're trying to make. Uh, Next slide, please. Yeah, Kamal, Gamal wants to ask say something.
Yeah, please. I can see here
Go.
some, a blending between language learning and skills, thinking skills, critical thinking, creativity, think smart. This is usually quite easy in first language, but when we teach second language or foreign language, the students are quite smart and they think very well. They are very creative. They're very smart. But the problem is language use, not thinking skills or critical thinking or whatever you would like to call. What do you think?
Yeah. So, critical thinking can be done, in a proper way at advanced level. But at lower level, maybe we design question in such a way that actually promotes critical thinking. But with advanced level students, you can design questions like, why do you think this answer is true? Can you give a reason? And then maybe ask another student, do you think his answer is based on logic and reason? But with weak student or maybe with lower level, it's a bit difficult. Or maybe with lower level, you can do things like, okay, look at the picture. What's happening in the picture? Why do you think people have gathered there? Is there any thing to do, or they want to do something? Or do you find these two pictures are connected with the article that we are going to read? We look at the title, look at the subheading. So maybe simple things like that.
My point, Dr. Abrar, is that, when we teach language, is different from teaching skills. You get my point?
Say
Teaching
again?
language, teaching language is different from teaching skills. I can see that people always say about, critical thinking, reasoning, and so on. But the students already, if you turn to mother tongue, their first language, they can think very well. But when it comes to second language or foreign language, they have a language, problem. It's not a problem with their thinking skills or critical thinking or thinking smart.
No,
You get my point?
Mr.
yeah,
Gamal,
Mr. Jamal, I
Mr. Gamal,
agree
are you,
with you.
Mr.
I
Gamal,
agree with you
do you mean a
100%.
language barrier? Language,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
they
language
think very
barrier.
well in their mother tongue, but they have a language barrier. They have a language problem, not really
Yeah.
thinking skills or
And
critical skills.
I really agree with you 100%. Like,
Yeah,
without language, you might think, but you can't transfer what you are thinking because you don't have the language.
that's it.
That,
That's why we need to learn to
that's
teach the language. The skills is already there, but in their mother tongue. See?
but as a teacher, it's our job to stimulate creating thinking, critical thinking in students. And how do we do that? Like, for example, okay, look at the pictures. Why? What do you notice in the picture? What's happening? Or maybe you need to use guided questions. Maybe you need to use in a language that is easy for them to understand. For example, let me give you, for example, a teacher is teaching photosynthesis. It's a complex concept, right? The method through which a food is prepared for plant. Okay, but for those who have problem with the language, you can ask question: is it a method to make food, or something else? Make food. Very good. Is this way food for human is prepared, or for food for plant is prepared? For plant. Okay, good. Do
Definitely.
they use sunlight or something else? Oh yeah, they use. You see, so if you simplify your question, if you make your questions guided like this, even the weakest of your students will say something. Maybe yes or no, but they will say. So you're promoting critical thinking like this.
Yes, and
So
what we
in
are doing is that we use these skills. We use critical thinking. We use creative thinking to help them. Like we help them in the language
Exactly.
acquisition. So this is a
Exactly.
tool. This is a tool
Yeah.
that we are using.
Yes,
Yeah.
so this means at a certain level, the critical thinking could be guided at the beginning to help the students guided critical thinking.
And the language needs to be very, very simple.
Very simple, yes.
Or maybe
Okay.
you need to give them option A, B, C. What do you think? Is it
Yeah.
for plant, for
Yeah.
human,
Yes, no
animal,
questions.
and
Yeah.
something like this?
Yes, no questions, multiple choice
They,
questions.
they may not,
Yes.
they may not, use a lot of language, but they will, get the idea that you are trying to pull out from them.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Also
And
assessment
then,
also. When you
uh,
assess the thinking, don't assess the language while
exactly.
assessing. Yes.
Yeah. So you need to use a language which is well graded, which they can easily understand. So if something is complex, you need to break it down to smaller chunks, and you need to give them in the simplest language possible.
Yes, and also if we use the example of the photosynthesis, critical thinking would come at a later stage after providing them with the vocabulary so that we make it easier for them to express themselves. So they have the tools already, they master the language, they have the vocabulary to be able to express themselves and to move to a higher level of thinking.
And we are going to take a look at Bloom's taxonomy in a bit. So these questions can be answered there as well. And that's why critical thinking is, comes under the higher order thinking skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please. Yeah, there's the beautiful quotation, about creativity. We are attempting to educate students today so that they will be ready to solve future problems that have not yet been identified using technologies not yet invented, based on scientific knowledge not yet discovered. So we need to equip our students with critical thinking so that they identify problems, they think deep about these problems, and then they come up with solution to fix those problems. And science has done a lot. Yeah, many of our problems have been fixed. Like for example, during Corona, yeah, teleconferencing was done. In many villages, in many countries, they didn't have doctors, and people were dying with Corona. You know, uh, in big number. And so a doctor would communicate to the patients in villages through teleconferencing. So they will listen to their problems, and then medicines will be sent, using maybe a drone and other, means. So, yeah, you see. So this is how, critical thinking and creativity fix some of our modern problems. Yeah. Let's have a look at critical and creative thinking in relation to Bloom's taxonomy. So as you let's go from uh, uh, bottom to top. Okay, like remembering, understanding, yeah, and applying. So they are
Lower thinking.
lower order thinking skills. So they are
Yeah.
called lots. Lower order thinking skill. In short, we say lots. And if you go up, look, analyzing, evaluating, creating, they are higher order thinking skills. So if a students, like for example, students just, memorize definition. That's the first thing. Like what is a noun? What is a verb? Okay, what is an adjective? And then, how much he understands this. Has he just memorized or does he understand? And then finally, when he applies while writing or while speaking, okay? And then, if he finds, a difficult structure, then he has to analyze. Is it just a simple subject, verb, object, or there are other words before or after? And then, if there are two texts, students read and then they analyze and evaluate, which one is better. Or for example, let me give you one more example. Suppose, you can provide students with two paragraphs, one with linkers and one without linker. And then you can ask a student, which paragraph do you think is better? Of course, a student would say with linkers, it's much better because it's more coherent, more organized. One sentence follows another sentence logically. So you can give students, to look at these two, compare and contrast, and then, analyze and evaluate which one is better and why. So the moment you say, okay, this one is better, why do you think this is better? Because of, because of linkers. Okay, what roles do they play? And then, maybe you design further questions like, there are different types of linkers we use for different purposes and so on. And then finally, students, write an essay or something, Uh, uh, can I move to the next slide? Yeah. Uh, how can we embed critical and creative thinking into everyday lesson? Like debrief lessons and activities using WH questions. So questions are very important. Like if students choose a particular answer, why do you think this answer is correct? I often say to my students, if you just give answers and you don't know the reason why you have chosen, that means you don't know. Maybe you have taken answer from somewhere. So it's very important to ask a lot of, WH questions. Why? What is the writer thinking here? What is the message he wants to deliver through this paragraph? Okay, and so on.
We
Allow
can
time
also
for,
we can
yeah,
also provide levels of questions, right? Like before, during, and after. Before the lesson, what do they predict? What do they expect? Or guessing, for example. And then during, whether it matched their predictions or they discovered something new. And then after, what do you think?
sorry, I couldn't follow you.
I'm saying that for the questions after, during, before, during, and after the lesson, can we
Yeah.
divide
Mhm.
them in such a way? Yes, guessing and prediction before reading, for example, and then during reading, whether it matches their predictions or were different, and then at the end, would you change something? And then comes the critical thinking, I think, in the third stage.
Oh, yeah. Let me give you uh, here application of Bloom's taxonomy. How can we use Bloom's taxonomy in our EFL context? Like, for example, remember, define fast food. So uh, going from, bottom to top, yeah, bottom up approach of, you know, uh, Bloom's taxonomy. So define fast food. What is fast food? That's remember, like he remembers the definition of fast food. And then can you summarize the effects? Like what are the effects if people eat fast food a lot? So he understands. Now, application, like use linking words, right? In a paragraph. Now, compare health impacts. Now, students compare health impacts of fast food. In what way does it impact your health? What are different ways in which it impacts your health? And then when it comes to evaluation, judge government policy. So you look at the policies of the government related to fast food. And finally, creativity comes in here. You see, so critical thinking when you are trying to analyze or evaluate, and then something creative at the end. Design a healthy campaign. So now you know the problem and you know the, how it impacts someone's health. And then, you have also gone through the government policies related to fast food. Now, finally, you are trying to design a healthy campaign so that, you can create awareness among people to cut down on, amount of fast food that people eat. Yeah. And then you provide solution to the government and so on. This is creativity. So critical thinking and creativity, they complement each other. And creativity is the last thing. Okay, so it depends on the, yeah, what other ways to embed critical and creative thinking into daily classroom activities? For example, choice of assignment, advertisement analysis. For example, you show one advertisement to students. What's happening in this advertisement? What do you notice? Who are the target audience? Okay, uh, uh, is this advertisement meant for older people or maybe young people? Yeah, why are they trying to appeal like this? Why are they trying to show like this? So when you show pictures and then you ask some questions, it stimulates thinking in students. So students are bound to think. And this is how you promote critical thinking in students. You can also give students, data interpretation task. For example, if you look at IELTS writing task 1, yeah, it gives data about, maybe usage of mobile phone or, number of people that use Apple phone and so on. And then, you have to write in 3 paragraphs report based on the visual data presented on bar chart or pie chart and so on. Okay. Open-ended questions and assignments. Yeah. Sometimes you give them open-ended questions and assignments. They choose what they want to write their assignments on. In this way, you also provide them autonomy. Also, mind maps. Like, for example, mind map is also like brainstorming ideas. So if you collect ideas before writing, and uh, then finally you decide, which two ideas you are going to use in writing. Yeah. What can be the resources to achieve critical and creative thinking? These are some of the resources, like squiggle station. Uh, there is something, like mm, something soft. Yeah, and students, turn into uh, different shapes and maybe different images and pictures. So you're promoting kind of uh, imagination in students. Like, out of nothing, they are able to create, like maybe something imaginative, maybe car, maybe uh, some uh, device, or maybe something, yeah. So squiggle station helps students to make something out of something soft, or maybe you just draw a line on the board, and then the students turn it into something, maybe some image or some shape. So it stimulates thinking in students, and it also leads to students being more imaginative. Invention center, in invention centers, they create something like maybe something related to transport, or something, as we see, students, like in our home, children, they have something made of rubber, and they create a lot of things out of, they make a house. Like, my daughter is 6 years old, and she has got it, and she keeps making different, sometimes she makes doll out of it, sometimes she makes a castle out of it. So they create different things. In creative writing center, yeah, also they create something in the writing center, like create a story. Like, one sentence is given, okay, now another student has to write another sentence, but it should be connected. Then third one writes another sentence. Yeah. So, and this is how a story is made. So it starts with one sentence, students keep adding next sentences, and then, it leads to a story. So this is creative, piece of writing, which can be done under writing center. Logic center, students are given puzzles and other things where, they fix problems, using different items given there. So it helps them, sharpen their thinking, reasoning skills. So these are some of the resources that can be used with our students, so that, especially with, lower level students. Can I have next slide, please? Yeah. How can we include critical and creative thinking into EFL lessons? We can use pictures to invite the students to find any connection with the theme in the lesson as warm-up. So before we help the students, reading the passage, we use some pictures as a warm-up. And this is how we introduce the topic, and we set the context. So the pictures are, very good in helping a student think, in connecting uh, the topic to the main theme in the reading passage. Make chain link organizer to sequence connecting events. Yeah, like linkers are used, to connect sentences logically. Like, if there are a list of things like first, after that, next, finally. So these are, time words which are used to link things together in order. Create cause and effect organizer to map an event, a story. The map, cause and effect. So yeah, again, uh, you create, the organizer in which, cause is related to effect. For example, if your students are writing cause and effect, let's say, right? How causes are connected with effect. So they have to first organize which cause leads to which effect. Now rewrite a story from the perspective of a different character. Yeah. Suppose in a story there are, different characters. Okay. And maybe you give different roles to students, and each one interprets the story according to the character that he is playing. Use pictures to stimulate thinking in a student to find any connection with the theme in the lesson. As well. I think we have already talked about this. Use Venn diagram to compare character traits or feelings among multiple characters. Yeah. So it's good idea to use Venn diagram. Like there are three circles. Yeah. Let me give you one example from my own class. Like I teach health track. The question was compare and contrast flu with coronavirus. So some of the symptoms of coronavirus and flu are the same, but some symptoms are different. So symptoms that are different, they are in circles that they're separate. But the symptoms that are common between flu and coronavirus, they are in the middle, overlapping both. So if something is common, you write in the circle which is common between both, and things which are different between the symptoms of corona and uh, COVID, they are in circles which are separated, not overlapping each other. So this is what we call when it's a good way to collect ideas first like this, and then go into writing. Empty guided discovery to find patterns and rules of grammar in syntax. Yeah. So we can use guided discovery approach for teaching grammar. For example, if you have to teach uh, present perfect to a student, so it's a good idea to expose the students with a short paragraph where you have lots of sentences related to present perfect. Okay. Use the same paragraph with the guided question, to help the students notice what kind of tense do you find here? Uh, do they use has or have? Yes. After has and have, what form of verb is used? Is it simple past or, uh, verb three is used? Okay, so if you design guided questions like this, you don't have to explain rules. You just let the students or you help a student discover the rules. And this is what we call guided discovery approach to teaching grammar, where you can reduce your TTT and you can easily raise, STT, student talk time. Now, I'm sorry, it's not very, it's so small. I can't see. No, sorry, can you go back to the next slide? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So as you can see here, yeah, like evaluating advantages and disadvantages. So if your students have to think about advantages and disadvantages of maybe any gadget, okay, so they make T. Yeah. So in one column, they have to write about good things about it, and another column, they have to write about disadvantages. Okay. And then they can use it. Uh, so And then, you can have like this. For example, look at one. People forget facts that are stored on computers. People remember where and how. So, students who are quick on the uptake, maybe you just give the two columns and ask them to think of advantages and disadvantages. Students who are slow on the uptake, students who are weak, okay, if they have poor language, maybe you can give them, options. Okay, give them 10 sentences. Which ones are advantages? Which ones are disadvantages? Where are you going to place them? So it can also uh, uh, lead to differentiated learning. Like in the same class, when you have weak students or strong students with advanced students, you just give them two columns. But with weak students, you can provide them sentences. You just ask them to put in different categories. Yeah, and so this is how you promote critical thinking. I have taken this from the book Unlock,
Yes, I was just going to ask you if you
and it's
could provide
closely
us
woven around
with
the
the
Bloom's
source.
taxonomy.
Yes,
Sorry.
Unlock. Unlock is very good. Yes. There is listening,
Yeah,
speaking, reading, writing, and critical thinking, right?
yeah. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
because it has integrated the skills, and
Yeah.
on every page you have one part of Bloom's taxonomy, and
Yeah,
that's why
exactly.
towards the end now comes critical
Yeah.
thinking.
The TOEFL for advanced stages is also very good. It allows also for critical thinking. The TOEFL
Right.
exams and exercises.
Yeah, and then maybe as you can see next question, computers have changed the way we remember information. Okay, now the advantages, disadvantages. Now students have to come up with ideas. So you have already trained them how to think. Now they have to think on their own. So yeah, so from controlled practice, now they are moving to freer practice. They're thinking, they're trying to produce something on their own.
Yeah, argument, counter argument.
But yeah, exactly. So it depends what you're teaching, and so
Mm.
you can design activities accordingly. Yes. So if they have to write argumentative essay, yes, you can have counter arguments as well. Right. Yeah, as you see here, analyze. Now they have to analyze. You see, so there are many topics. They have to choose one topic, and then they have to do the same thing. They have to think about the topic that they choose, maybe a smartphone or internet TV, and then they have to come up with things which are beneficial, things that are uh, not so good. So they have to think about merits and demerits, advantages, disadvantages, good things and bad things about the topic which is chosen.
Yes, I would
And as
like
you
to
see here,
add.
analyze
I
and
would-
evaluate.
Yeah, I would like to add also about GRE, the GRE exercise exams. Actually, it allows for something that is very close to critical thinking, which is analytical reading, which is also part of critical thinking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you're right. I agree with you. Can I have next slide, please? Yeah. So uh, if you have any questions, go ahead.
I have a question whether we will be provided with a recording and the slides or any files for the session.
Yeah. The recording will be available in 2 days, inshallah.
Can we also get um, a version of the slides, the presentation?
It's up to Summer. Uh, she's
Yes,
my
Miss
person.
Summer?
She calls the tune.
Miss
Yeah,
Summer?
sure. I don't have any problems. Yeah, I should have asked Dr. Mohammed before the session, but it's okay if it's allowed. Adi, I don't have any problems.
Mhm.
We'll
Okay,
get
thank
back
you
to
very much. We would be very grateful to you, Mr. Muhammad, Dr. Muhammad, if you allowed Ms. Summer to provide us with the slides. This will be very helpful in our teaching because I teach critical thinking. I'm teaching, I used to teach critical thinking at university level, but now I'm teaching for IGCSE students. I teach them critical thinking as well.
Okay. Inshallah.
Okay, so dear teachers, do you have
I
any
think
questions to Dr. Muhammad?
participants don't have questions. They don't want to prolong my misery.
It's Ramadan, it's Ramadan.
Yeah.
Everybody is fasting.
Yeah, after
Preparing suhoor
praying
now here in
Tarawih, I just
KSA.
rushed for this.
I'd like to thank Dr. Abrar, for his presentation or webinar. And really, it was really great, very productive, very fruitful, very useful. So thank you very much and hope to see you soon.
I wish I could do with my laptop. I would have done much better. On phone, it's so difficult.
Thank
I
you.
think I think I was a good assistant.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss
Yeah.
Summer. Thank you, Dr. Muhammad.
Yeah,
It's a very interesting and very important because critical thinking, I think it is one of the C's of 21st century teaching and learning skills.
Uh, can you move
yeah.
next slide?
Nowadays in Kuwait as well, when they changed the syllabus, they changed all the
So
curriculum and they used
here
like
are the
these
reflections.
activities that you have mentioned.
Here are the reflections for this webinar. Which strategy can you apply tomorrow? Which activity requires minimal preparation? That's a food for thought for you.
Yeah, we need to think about it.
And can I have the next slide, please? So here you have got references that you can use. Uh, Next slide, please. Thank you so very much for your patient hearing and active participation and not troubling me so much in QA session.
Thank you so much for this virtual session. Although it was really informative and it was really practical. Yeah, we can take away many ideas. It's
Thank
not
you.
just information. It's not just information you take and then you may miss later. No, you can use it as you have mentioned the slide which was before this one. Yeah, we can take something and we can apply it in
Yes, it's
our
all
classrooms.
applicable.
Even
Yes, it's
yeah,
No,
in all
the
applicable.
levels I see.
ideas are truly
In all levels.
applicable in
Hmm.
class. Yes.
Yeah. Miss Summer, is it
In all levels
certified?
as well. Yes.
Is it certified, the participation and attendance?
This in Ramadan we couldn't like we couldn't offer you any certificates for attendance because we are concerning on the information that that you are taking from the webinars and the event as whole.
You mean the certificate wouldn't be sent during Ramadan, so we can expect to have the certificate after Ramadan, maybe? Or it is not certified? You mean the webinars in Ramadan aren't certified
Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean. We don't offer certificates for the webinars in Ramadan.
in Ramadan? Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you, Miss Summer. Yeah, thank you.
you're
Thank you,
welcome.
Doctor. Thank you, Dr. Ibrar.
Thank you so much.
But honestly, we just offer this for for the presenters and the speakers. To be honest, I just want to be honest with you. We just offer the speakers and the presenters who are collaborating with us, but it's very hard to us to gather all the information about the attendees and offer them certificates.
Can I leave now?
Yes, I think it's okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for helping me. If you didn't
Happy
help, I would
Ramadan. Happy Ramadan.
happy to.